Hi, this is Tim, and I was just on my way to the gym this morning and I just received an email from a student and I thought I would just answer it via a video. And it says, here's the question. It says, Tim, how do I overcome the fear of getting started in real estate? And it's a great question, the same question I had when I first got started also. And one of the things that we have to realize is when we are taking on a new project, a new venture, anything that's outside of our comfort zone, we are going to experience this emotion of fear because our mind has a purpose. Just like any organ in our body has a purpose, our spleen, our gallbladder, our lungs, our heart, it all has a purpose. And so does our mind. The purpose of the mind, it's a survival mechanism. Its purpose is to keep us safe, to survive us. So anytime that we are doing something that is outside of our comfort zone, our mind perceives that as a risk to our survival. And it'll start doing anything it can to get us not to move forward because it perceives it as a risk. It'll start creating a little voice in your head that tells you stories that this will never work, or you've done things in the past and you've procrastinated, and all your friends and family, and it'll start thinking of people that you know that tried something that failed. It's going to do anything that it can to keep you where you are. And when we want to start in something like real estate, and the same thing in my own life, when I first started, I experienced these same emotions, this fear. And what I realized is that you're never going to overcome that. Because as I mentioned, we are animals. At the end of the day, we are mammals, a human being. We have our survival instinct. And we keep waiting for the fear to go away before we take an action, and it's not going to go away. And the reason being is because the mind perceives something new as a risk. Now, it doesn't mean that it is a risk or it's something you're not going to excel at. It just perceives it as such because it's never experienced it before. So instead of trying to think about how to overcome the fear, I want you to think of it in a different way. Your fear is like a doorway. Right over here to my side, there is a doorway that leads into my game room. And inside that game room, I want you to visualize that as your goal. For me, it was when I got started back in 1994, inside my game room was millions of dollars. Being able to leave Ohio and move to a white sandy beach to retire. That was what was inside of my game room. I had a vision of millions of dollars and being able to retire to a white sandy beach within 10 years. Now, I knew real estate investing could get me into that game room. But in between where I was, which was on this side of the doorway, and through the doorway was the actual doorway, which was fear. Now, I kept waiting for that doorway to go away, the fear to go away. The doorway is not going to go away. What you must do is step through the doorway, step through your fear. So how do you do that? If you have this goal to be a real estate investor, but you keep getting kind of paralyzed because this fear, it's not going to go away. You need to step through the fear. Have you ever heard the saying, feel the fear and do it anyways? The way that you're going to step through the doorway is typically one of two ways. Either what's on the other side of that doorway is such a juicy goal to you, it excites you so much, you're so passionate about it that you're not going to let that doorway or that fear stand in your way. You're going to step through it because you know what's on the other side. You know what that potential is. And you step through your fear and you go after it. You get started. Now, that is one way that people are able to step through their fear, is that their goal is so exciting, so juicy, so passionate that they step through the fear in spite of it. Now, the other way that it happens for people is that on this side of the goalway, they look at their present situation. They look at where they're at in life, and it causes them so much pain that they're not going to put up with that for one more minute. One more minute, one more second. They know that they're better than that. They know that this is beneath where they should be in their life, and they're not going to stand for it. They're going to draw a line in the sand. The pain is so strong of where they are that nothing's going to stop them from stepping through that doorway. So you need to determine, what is it true for you? As I mentioned, for me, I always had this vision that inside my game room, on the other side of the doorway, was this retirement to a white sandy beach, was millions of dollars. However, for 12 years, that didn't move me. I didn't get started in real estate. I first had a dream in 1983 about getting started. It took me till 1994 to finally step through it. Even though I had that goal, that I knew that what was inside of the game room, my fears paralyzed me. Because what was in the game room, although I knew I could do it, it wasn't tangible to me. It just wasn't believable enough to me or real enough to me that it got me to step through my fear. What finally made the difference for me, and what you will probably find if you ask anybody that's truly stepped through their fear and truly succeeded, it was pain that made them make a move. On this side of my doorway in 1994, I had been working in corporate America for 11 years, and I looked at my present situation, and I had $338 in my bank account after 11 years of working in corporate America. And in that moment, I said, enough is enough. I am not going to go another 20, 30 years living paycheck to paycheck. And that pain pissed me off so much that I said, I'm doing it. I drew a line in the sand, and I said, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to get a mentor. I'm going to have someone to show me how to do it. I don't care that I don't have money. I will find a way. I got so pissed that I took massive action, and I stepped through the door. What I found from making that decision, from stepping through the fear and just getting started, getting a mentor, putting the things in places, making that first offer, is that the whole universe then starts to conspire when you lead with faith. When you step through the fear, it's like you're telling the universe, I believe it. I'll do whatever it takes. And it starts lining up all the resources. It lined up the perfect mentor for me. It lined up private lenders for me. It lined up sellers for me. It opened up my entire world. And 10 years later, I had that goal. I had the millions of dollars, and I retired to a white sandy beach. But it was the pain that made me step through the doorway. So I want you to think of it in a different way. Instead of waiting for the time that you're going to overcome your fear, it's not going to happen. You need to step through it. And you're going to step through it one of two ways. Either the goal is so juicy that it gets you excited, or the pain of where you are and you know that you can do more than this and that you're better than this pisses you off so bad that you take massive action and step through the fear, step through the doorway in spite of the fear. So I hope this helps. One of the quotes that I love, that it says, if you ever want to see the strongest force in the universe, it's the power of the human soul on fire. So I want you to look at your present situation of where you are financially, relationally, physically. Set a goal that really excites you. Look at where you are, and if that gets you upset enough that you'll finally draw a line in the sand, you will step through your fear and then overcome it, because then you'll see what's on the other side of that doorway, because you took massive action. So I hope this helps, and we will see you the next time on the next video.